What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kind of Funny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Greg, would you believe when I bought these, I thought they were full-size cans, but they're actually
order them
kind
on
of,
Amazon?
They're like three-quarter size cans. They're so
That's
small.
ridiculous. You look like that photo of Andre the Giant holding a beer.
I drink like 10 of them just to make one can.
But so you ordered them sight unseen, or did you go to the store?
No. I did the thing where I was like, oh, I'm just gonna run over to Walgreens real quick, and I'm into like canned soda right now. These are the only cans they had, which is weird.
What a stupid statement. I love it. I'm into canned sodas. That's my thing. I like canned sodas.
Is it stupid, or is the way I said it stupid, or is it both?
It might have been a reflection of it, but it's
both.
just like, I also want to say, like, I've never heard anyone say they're into canned or bottled sodas. Mexican Coke, I know, in a glass bottle, different story. I'm not saying.
Well, I mean, we can get into it if you want, but you can go do the intros if you want. But the canned soda just has less carbonation in it. I like it.
Stand up for Nick for a second. I've also said I'm into canned sodas. I like 12-ounce cans. I'm not ashamed. I'll go 16-ounce sometimes.
Yeah.
Like the big boys.
Kevin, if I could have found the tall boys, I'd be drinking the tall boys right now. Instead, I've got the kindergarten versions where they're like, we'll just give them to the kids if they spill them. It doesn't cost us that much money.
They're built that way probably to try to get you to drink fewer sodas, but it just leads to you drinking. They're probably built that way so you drink less soda, but it actually means you're drinking more cans.
I've never in my life seen a 16-ounce can of soda.
A tall boy?
Yeah.
They're balls.
Yeah, Stu's seen it. Put some stew in that pot. That's Stew Bias, everybody. Hey, Stu.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Not much. I want to get right back to you because, of course, over here, Forbes 30 under 30, a.k.a. the second best baby blues in San Francisco, a.k.a. the verified one at Tim Gettys.
Let's host. Yeah, I'm looking here on Walmart.com. They're out of stock, but you can buy Coca-Cola 16 fluid ounce 12 packs. Pretty impressive stuff. I'm looking at this. I'm like, I've never seen this. Never seen it in my life.
You hit that point with the normal can, and I say normal, I'm talking about the ones in the States, because in Europe they have weird ass fucking cans of shit that like still have pull tabs and shit that get stuck in your throat. When you do the normal can, and Kevin will back me up on this, you always want another half a can in there. And then when you're done with that other half a can, you're like, well, now I have to have 3 now because I have to have a can and a half each time I go to
3.
You know what I mean?
How that math checks
That's
out.
how math works. I want a can and a half, but then if I have a half a can, I'm like, I want another can on top of that, so I have the can and a half per session.
Tim, fun fact: 16-ounce cans. Often, you're like, fuck. There's 4 more ounces in here than I need.
Yeah, I don't need it.
You still drink it. You still
it's warm.
drink it.
Once you got it open, you got it. Yeah, Kevin was bested by a burrito today, and when I say bested, I mean he should have stopped eating this burrito, and he knew he should have stopped eting the burrito, but he ate through it. Then there was still a little bit left, and he ate through it. He ate his way out of the problem.
Fucking man,
himself another problem.
That's right. Yep.
It's a huge problem.
I've been with Kevin on multiple instances where he's been almost bested by a burrito, but I've never seen him lose.
Sure, that makes sense. Because I think, you think any meal Kevin's ever had, there is no loser. You know what I mean? He makes sure it gets done. Kevin's there to close out the job. Ain't that right, Kevin?
And sometimes you need that pint of Coke to get you all the way through.
Exactly. Yeah, that little pint of Coke syrup grease the gears.
It is a pint of Coke, isn't it?
It is a pint or a liter of cola.
Yeah.
I prefer a pint of Coke over a liter of cola any day. Yeah.
Now, Stu, we're coming back to you right now because if you're an audio listener, you owe it to yourself to pull the car over, go to youtube.com/kindoffunny and open it just for a second. What is going on behind you? Why is when you... Well, you have cash coming. That was unexpected. That wasn't even where I was starting on whatever the hell is happening in your office. For me, it was the fact that I thought when you signed on to the Discord call that you had green screened it, or you had taken a JPEG of a phone and put it in your frame. But in fact,
nice.
it is behind you. There is a gigantic phone behind you that moves.
Correct. That's right. I'm screencasting my phone to this TV so I can give you guys a live demo of our new social platform, OG Social, that's taking social back to the way we all used to love it and getting rid of all the ads and privacy exploitations that's happening on every other platform. So yeah, this is my office. It was built by Nick's brother.
Yeah,
of course it was.
Brother. Of course it was.
Big Matt at Go Button Productions, his team came out and just decked out the space. It all just used to be white bare studs, and he came in and just decked me out. And
is this in your house, or is this? Do you have an office?
No, this is my office. Yeah, in Buena Park, California.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Very close to Portillo's. All right.
Portillo's and Knott's Berry Farm. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's going to Knott's Berry Farm. They're going to Portillo's.
No. We're a big Portillo house here. Every time we're down in SoCal, when we're allowed to be down in SoCal, we hit that place up. And again, talking about watching Kevin almost get bested by a meal. I've seen him take down a what is it, chocolate cake sundae? Shake.
Chocolate
That's
cake
what it is.
shake.
Yeah. And look at me while he's doing it like somebody should stop me. And I just don't. And he wins every single time.
What did you do? You went and you told
I want
my
a sip
wife-
of it. I want to get a little sip of it.
my wife, and now I'm not allowed to have milkshakes.
It was a
Thanks,
hypothetical. Maybe Kevin had 2 shakes today. I was worried about your health. When you take down 2 milkshakes in one day from Beeps, I'm like, this is a problem. This is an addiction.
They weren't both from Beeps. One was from
fair.
Beeps, and one was from somewhere else.
Kevin was to the point there with Kevin was to the point with the milkshakes where he's like, is a breakfast milkshake like is that acceptable? And I'm like, I think they call it a smoothie. So yeah, you're fine.
I don't know why milkshakes aren't in more places. Well, the other day we were out on a walk and Jen's like, you know what would be great? Some ice cream. And I was like, you know what? It would be. It's been hot here in San Francisco. We went in an ice cream shop. They ain't making shakes there. They ain't making malts. I just can get ice cream.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I did it.
Milkshakes have like 1,500 calories or something, so I think that's probably why people stay away from them. But I love them. I love cookies
all right,
and
first off,
milkshake from Jack in the Box.
Yeah,
Woo!
all right.
That's the
If you're walking into an ice cream parlor and you're like, oh man, this milkshake's got too many fucking calories, get the fuck out of the ice cream parlor, all right? Nobody wants to do that.
That's what they do nowadays. You go to an ice cream place, and then back in my day, we get 32 flavors at least at the goddamn bare minimum, right?
Sure.
Now you walk in and it's like there's 2 sides. There's usually like a cash register and then one of the little like ice cream sections on the left and one on the right. Usually the one on the left is like all the fun flavors, what's left of them. And the right's a whole bunch of variations of diet this and diet that and ice cream form.
The other thing you're going to run into is
that I'm not down for.
I, of course, adore San Francisco. I love San Francisco. I've been here 14 years now. I don't know if Tim, can I call myself a resident of Can I say I'm from San Francisco yet?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can ever say you're from it.
Yeah, no.
You
live in San Francisco.
Damn. Okay, so I said yes, but
fucking
they were like, no.
You're not from it. You weren't raised
where you're
here.
from.
But I mean, like,
You're
but like when you meet somebody and they say, "Where are you from?" You're supposed to say, like, I meet somebody for the first time. I'm all of a sudden I'm up in Newfoundland,
like,
all right?
Glendale,
I'm doing some ice fishing.
Illinois
I fall in the
some
water. I ride a current off. I get picked up on a ship. They're like, "Where are you from?" I'm supposed to say, "Well, I'm from Chicago, but I live in San Francisco." Like, I don't even want to have this. This is some fisherman who just found me. He's got like 3 teeth. I'm glad he saved my life, but I don't want to like get into the whole thing with him. I got to tell him my whole fucking life story.
Did he fish you out of the water? Or
Yeah.
what were
Yeah,
you
that's
doing
what
prior to that? Okay.
He just
Oh,
explained.
sorry.
He
Did this story move too quick for you, Nick?
It did.
I was
I'm
in
sorry.
Newfoundland
I
ice fishing.
Okay,
I fell
okay.
into the water
Fell
and
into
a
the water.
current
Got
took
it.
me
I
to
missed
the
that part.
fisherman's ship. And
Got
then
it.
this motherfucker has the gall to ask me, "Where are you from?" And I say, I'm from San Francisco. He's like, "Oh, born and raised?" And I'm like, "No, I was originally born in Chicago." He's like, "Well, you're really not from San Francisco." And I'm like, "I've lived there for 14 years, sir.
it.
I have no idea what's happening in Chicago anymore. Can I have a pant?"
Did you catch any fish?
No, I didn't. He had quite the haul though. He had quite the haul. He's using those big nets. You know what I mean? He's got all sorts of crappie and flounder.
Okay. All right.
Anyways, the problem with San Francisco is that everybody's too hoity-toity with it. You walk into these places, oh, we got the balsamic, lemongrass,
No, dude,
whatever.
that's
Like
just
this thing's a
hold
floral pressing. All these indie,
That's
indie
the ice cream
shops.
shop by your house that does the weird experimental flavors. You go to a classic Cold Stone.
That place sucks.
I agree.
It sucks.
I'm with you.
It smells
I'm with
good,
you.
though. It smells so good when you walk by.
Yeah,
it.
waffle
It smells like
cookies smell good.
confectionery.
Their cookie game
Cookie
strong.
week. Cookie game week.
I'm going to say right now, if you guys want the best ice cream in all of San Francisco, go to Salt and Straw. It is by far. Now, it's exactly the thing we're railing
Hoity-toity
against right now,
fancy ice cream
which
shop.
is hoity-toity
You go to
fancy.
Mitchell's.
Like, Mitchell's is fine.
What about Bi-Rite? You can get the square cubes of ice cream.
Bi-Rite's good. Bi-Rite's got that good salted caramel.
This is
Or
why you're not
salted
San Francisco.
caramel.
All of those were like hipster recommendations. You guys are terrible.
I don't eat
How
that
do
much
you
ice
not-
cream. I'm
do
not
you
that
not
big.
live
I'm
in
not
San
that big. You know
Francisco?
what I mean?
I mean, fucking, if you're not hipster, are you really from San Francisco? That's what I want to know from Tim.
I mean,
Brown
you don't make the
ale
rules.
and
Wherever you're
bacon.
born is where you're from. It's like
Cinnamon
where you
toast.
are is a different thing.
Greg, this place makes square ice cream? What's up with that?
Bi-Rite does some square ice cube, don't they? Or am I? Because
No, you're mixing
gonna,
up.
I'm
You're
lying.
mixing up.
I don't think Bi-Rite does that, no.
All right. So does anybody in San Francisco?
That
Square
one-
ice cream?
Rite
No,
Aid used
not that
to.
I know
Rite
of.
Aid used to. Thrifties, right?
So I time traveled back there, and if I'm lying, I'm dying. I'm thinking of Cock Robin, a great hamburger shop.
Cock Robin.
Cock Robin. They were already on their way out by the time I was there, but they were like my parents in the 50s. That's what they grew up going to or whatever. And so there was one that hung on in Wheaton, Illinois forever, and you'd go there and they would serve square ice cream. That was their shtick, along with really good hamburgers.
Crazy.
Yeah. This is I've lived a life, and I guess that's what makes me from fucking Glen Ellen. Fucking Newfoundland fisherman picks me up. Where are you from? Chicago. Oh, downtown. No, Glen Ellen. Why do you say Glen Ellen? I'm like, fucking, I don't know what's happening in Glen Ellen.
Why are you talking to this fisherman? If a fisherman asks me,
he just saved my fucking life. I got swept out to sea.
Tim,
I'm sitting there doing. He's shaking.
He
takes off his big smelly coat and he puts it on me.
He puts it on you. It's a wet coat, but it's keeping you warm.
It's really gross.
It's so stinky.
Isn't that the fucked up too thing? You get wet out there, you're fucking freezing to death, and you got to keep your wet clothes on. You can't just strip naked and then put something else on. You need all the layers and shit.
Too many layers.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never fallen into the ice while ice fishing, been brought out to sea, and then saved by a fisherman who then decided to take his clothes off in front of me.
Just his
put them on me.
Just his big jacket. You know the one I'm thinking of. It's green. It's battered.
I love it. Oh yeah.
It's got like a duct
the one
tape
from
shoulder.
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Great,
very similar.
Yeah.
Could it be yellow?
And that beard, Nick is telling a different story. With that beard, it looks like you might have got picked up by an ice
Dude,
cream,
so I've started wearing beanies recently, Stu. I don't know if you've seen that on social media.
Yeah.
And I get so many different variables of insults that get thrown at me. A lot internally here in the house. That gets thrown at me a lot. But fisherman is definitely the insult du jour. I get that a lot. When I go out to comedy shows when I'm wearing that, people go, "Oh, are you going to go fishing soon?" And I'm like, it's not creative. It's not.
I hate it.
Where are we at right now? We're going to start with Stu. Where are we at right now as adults with fish sticks? You ever make a fish stick anymore, Stu?
I have not made a fish stick. I do love fish sticks and fried fish tacos. I love fish tacos with the fried fish.
Of course.
Fried up. Yeah, I want to make it as unhealthy as possible.
Yeah.
With the pescado. No, but I've never made a fish stick. No.
Yeah.
No.
No, of course not. No, but I remember being a kid, your parents toss a fish stick in the oven. There you go. Gordon's Fisherman. Yeah. You can see the train of thought on this one.
A fish stick.
All right, we're going out to the opera, Greggy. Here you go. One fish stick.
You got to slow play it. We're going to be gone for 6 hours. Don't eat it all at once.
It's an 18-inch long fish stick.
It's still frozen in the middle. You're like, oh no, I hate the middle parts. I was frozen.
Do, Mom?
God, I would fucking give anything to go back in time and babysit a young Greg Miller for a night.
Good Lord.
Just to see what that's like.
You think he was interesting? I don't think I would have been anything out of the ordinary.
I think you would have been fascinating to look at.
Greg, you were nothing but you could not have been ordinary. I do not believe it.
No fucking way. No way.
I understand you might not be the Greg Miller we know today.
Sure.
But you'd be a different breed of fucked up.
I mean, it's a compliment, of course. Yeah.
No, I mean, in the best possible way. I'm not saying I would go back there to make fun of you. I would go back there. I just want to see the creativity, the pure unbridled creativity that comes out of a young Greg Miller as he's, I don't know, like you whittling his way through Dixie cups or trying to catch raccoons in a box or watching Ghostbusters.
First off, Grandma Miller caught the raccoon in a box. As you know, the DuPage County Animal Control failed us. I expected them to step up to the plate, come save the day for 80-year-old Grandma Miller. No, she had to go out there with a box and a rock and stop this raccoon. All right. But I feel like aren't all kids fucked up and weird? And like you don't even know that I was fucked up and weird. Yeah. They don't know what I was doing when I went to bed.
I feel like babysitting Greg Miller would have really sucked. He's one of these kids you're like, all right, we're gonna get some food. Let's get a burrito. And he's like, no, I only eat hot dogs. And it's just like, all right, let's get him a hot dog. Come on, let's go. Did you get your bowl? And it's like,
Were you a picky eater, Greg?
I don't know. I was a kid. We're gonna call cousin Jodie. Why? She babysat me. She can put this to rest immediately.
Oh my God.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, cousin Jodie, it's Greg. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? I'm
great. You're on the Kind of Funny podcast. Because I'm calling you on a phone, you can only hear me. You can't hear the co-host. So I'll translate any conversations they have. They of course think I'm a big weirdo because I do weird things and say stupid things about fishermen.
If they want to do this, or give
and
them
so the question for you is, as somebody who babysat me, was I a weird kid to babysit?
Yep. That means yes. That means yes. That means 100% yes.
Okay. They interpreted your pause and reflection as I was weird.
No, you were not weird. You were
particular. If she says
and your favorites, and that's what you stuck to.
Sure.
Over and over again.
Okay. What are some of the things I did over and over again?
Oh my gosh! I mean,
Counted fucking
Ghostbusters.
Skittles?
I know.
Sure.
Yeah.
The entire movie.
Yeah.
Your Justice League figures.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I remember when I cried when I lost Wonder Woman's lasso. Yeah, that was a big deal.
And I found Wonder Woman.
I know. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did. Yeah, you found her at the KB Toys. Yeah.
Right. No, you wore your Ghostbusters,
uniform
suit around, and no, I would not say you were weird.
Costume.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I would not. I'm very confident in my answer.
I thank you for sticking up for me. I do remember that I wouldn't let you watch MTV because I was sick of Bon Jovi at one point, but
you were, and that was a little rough. But you were young, and
I came around. We talk always. What a jam! What a song!
Right?
Yeah.
See, I know what's up.
You do. I've always said you're hip.
You were not. You were so fun to babysit for. We had a good time.
Well, thank you for finally putting an end to that, and I'm glad that all the hosts will accept it that I was a normal child.
I hope I did.
You did. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Greg Miller, I've known you a very large percentage of
Cousin
my life.
Jodie.
And you just pulled a character that I not only have never heard of, but answered that phone way too ready to just say whatever the hell.
I agree. That was way too quick.
Way too enthusiastic.
No.
Like, who is this woman?
Here's what I'm going to say. It
Yeah.
sounded a lot like Lucy James with a Midwest accent. I'm just throwing that out there. If Lucy James is in the house right now, she is cousin Jodie.
No, see, it's not. There wasn't like a lot of prep work. 3 minutes ago, I just texted, "Can I call you on a live podcast?" And then she goes, "Lol, sure." So there you go. You know what I mean? Like it was. Jodie, don't worry. You see, that's the thing is, people think after 14 years I'd be throwing junk out here on the pitcher's mound, right? But ladies and gentlemen, here's what I want you to do. Pull over to the median right now and close your eyes, and let's reflect on what? Hold on a second. Let me open this thing up. Let's reflect on the last 17 minutes on the journey I've taken you on, all right?
Sure.
We've been to Newfoundland.
Yeah.
We've gone back in time. We've seen me as a baby. We're talking to cousin Jodie about Bon Jovi. Like, you could listen to a lot of different podcasts in 16 minutes. You know what they'd all do? They drone on and on about the national debt, or they tell you something about the combustion engine. But here I am, 14 years later. I'm still Michael Jordan slamma-jamming out here.
Killing
and
it.
Honestly, this might be one of my best podcast performances in a long time, proving once again that Andy is a problem, and we need to look into that.
It's true. I've often thought that Andy is the rock in everyone's shoe, where it's like you can still walk. You can still walk down the street, but it's just like
It's
not pleasant.
You
It's
know what I mean?
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
God, I know it, Tim. I played Warzone with Andy for like 4 hours last night, and we had a great time. And the second he said I'm off tomorrow, I was like, oh, we're gonna go fucking in on him during this podcast.
I know the rules are, whoever's not in the room we get to make fun of, but like this young boy, he's recovering from a snake bite. Like we got to make sure
both
that
eyes.
Yeah, it's just insane.
I forgot
It's
about
insane.
the snake.
By the way, Andy did not get bit by a snake. Way too many people thought we were serious, Greg, last week. I don't know if you've seen this.
Andy, that's even better.
Andy, Stu, just so you know, last week Andy was doing a sponsored shoot, so he couldn't be on the Kind of Funny podcast for at least a little bit. But Greg just introed it as like, yeah, Andy got bit by a snake, so he's not here. And we just moved on and like never went back to explain that was not true. So here we are.
It's just one of those things where like if you're a real fan of this podcast, you would know that Andy never leaves his room. So there's no possible way he's getting bit by a snake unless Barrett, in a grudge match of some sort, just threw a fucking cobra into his room and locked it in there with him. It's not happening.
That's amazing.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny podcast. Each and every week, twice a week, usually four best friends gather on these microphones, each coming to bullshit around with each other about whatever it is they want to bullshit about. You like that bullshit, so you go to patreon.com/kindoffunny and you give us different bullshit to talk about. We take your questions, your comments, your concerns, we turn it into a podcast, and you have a good time. Of course, on patreon.com/kindoffunny, you can get every episode ad-free. You can get episodes early. You can get it with the exclusive post show we do. You can get it so early you can be watching live right now, like Madeline is, like Tyler is, like Nick is, like J6 is, like the one and only only Joey Noel is, who wrote in the chat and said, I was late to this show, but it seems like I am just as lost as everyone else. Well, Joey, strap in. You got a podcast, all right? If you got no bucks, toss our way. What? What?
Sorry. Also, shout out to DJ Kento. He's watching live. Already signed up for OG Social and posted. And there he is, right there. Thanks, Kento.
There he is. I was about to say that looks like DJ Kento. I was like,
that's amazing. I didn't know we could be put if we sign up for OG Social right now. We can get onto the back of the podcast.
Let's go.
I'm like, it's on the App Store, right? Just OG Social.
Yeah.
Correct.
Of course, if you don't want to go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and support us, it's no big deal. You can get each and every episode. Remember, there's 2 episodes a week now, the Kind of Funny podcast on youtube.com/kindoffunny, roosterteeth.com, and podcast services around the globe each and every week.
Guys.
Oh,
I have something real fast that I just need to bring up, and I'm gonna need some assistance here. This is breaking news that I need to talk about right now, Greg.
Okay.
So at some point in the last couple days, it was either on Slack or text message. Somebody messaged me about the bear toilet attack situation.
Yeah. Yes.
Was it you guys?
No.
Did we get?
No, it was Eric Hart did that, I believe.
Yes.
Messaged you.
Yes.
Because he messaged me too and said, you guys aren't going to believe what happened here. And that it was a day after we started talking about it. Like, I think I brought that up on a podcast somewhere or on one of the live shows. Yeah.
Hold the fuck up. This is insane. Stu, last week on the podcast, we talked about somebody getting bit in the ass by a bear going to the bathroom.
In a porta potty.
And we talked about that for a very long time.
Outhouse, rather. Outhouse.
At an outhouse, yes. Me and Nick got texted from our friend being like, you won't believe this. And I didn't have time to look at it at the moment. I'm looking at it now. The woman that got bit is our friend Shannon Stevens.
Oh my God. So, God. Here's the thing.
First off, motherfuckers, when we read this article on the thing, we said Shannon Stevens.
And we kind of like joked about it, like, oh, that's funny.
I was like, oh, that's I didn't even think that they would have been the same person.
No,
that is.
I just typed in Shannon Stevens bear, and it's our fucking friend.
That is
crazy.
Fucking amazing.
Is she all right?
Is she okay?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, remember that was the whole
Text
thing.
Eric.
She got bit by the booty. It's fine.
It's one of those things where I was like, I saw the name and I was like, there's no way that's her. There's no way that's her. Because it was like in Alaska, wasn't it? Or
yeah. It didn't occur to me it would be a bear.
God fucking bless you, Shannon. I hope you're okay. If you're not, I'm sorry if we're making fun of you right now, but you got bit in the booth by a fucking bear, and that's great.
We made fun of you
the most
a lot
small world thing
knowing. Sorry, Shannon.
What a strange. Text her right now and see if she's okay. Because now I want to know if I can make silly of this.
I called her last week for some work stuff, and she didn't answer, which I thought was weird.
Could we call Eric and see if he knows if Shannon's still alive or if she died?
She's fine. She's being interviewed.
Okay. So. Do bear bites have like some sort of venom or toxin in them that like slowly moves through your system and kills you, or is it? They're just normal animal bites?
Real threat. Honestly, after you get bit by a bear, you do have to quarantine for 2 weeks to go through the moon cycle. Because if it's a full moon, you might turn into a werewolf. You don't know it's a werebear. You don't know what it's
called. A werebear. Yeah, a werewolf.
A bear wolf. You don't know what it's gonna be. You know what I mean? Anything can happen out there.
Oh my God, Tim, that is.
Why was Shannon in?
Crazy.
Why was she, where does Shannon work anymore? I haven't kept up with Shannon.
She works at IGN. She never left.
Really? Never.
She just
and she was in Alaska and got bit in the ass by a bear.
Working from home in Alaska. I don't know. All of this adds up. I am just beside myself.
She's probably just visiting. She probably just took a vacation for a second.
Anyway,
I mean,
sorry to derail. Back to housekeeping.
I mean, that's insane. That's crazy.
It really is fucking her. That is a picture of her. Wow. I can't believe it.
Put it in assets or whatever somewhere so I can actually click on it. Because that's the thing. Every fucking time I'm looking at the AP article from the Huffington Post. They have a photo of a fucking fake bear. Give me a photo of the woman. You know what I mean? At what point do we start valuing the life of the attacker more than the attackee? That's the problem I got. You know what I mean?
Some bears are endangered species.
I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. They come in with their liberal slants trying to get me to feel sorry for the bear. oh, this bear got shit on. That's not, you know what I mean? The bear bit a human being.
To be honest,
I feel bad for the human being, Huffington Post.
I read the article on Fox News, and it said that the bear was being aggressive and trying to root through the shit.
Shannon, all right.
So,
yeah, Jesus Christ.
I mean, that is Shannon. That's amazing.
But also, like, hold on a second.
Fucking unbelievable.
Would anyone describe her as, one of us describe her as an Alaskan woman?
No, right? I would not. So this article
that's
is
where
already
we ran
wrong.
into
Jimmy
trouble,
McCloskey.
right? Yeah.
She's definitely a person from San Francisco. I mean, I don't know, Tim. Is she allowed to say she's from San Francisco? You're the gatekeeper of everything that's from San Francisco.
It's not me. Why do people put this on me? I'm just trying to talk about semantics.
I would like to I tell people that I'm from San Francisco because when I travel, people go, "Where are you from?" And I go, "Riverside," and they go, "Ew."
Yeah,
so then no, they don't know. They don't even know where Riverside is.
No, because you travel and they go, "Where are you from?" And you go, "I'm from Riverside, California." You're like, "Oh, that's lovely. What's it like there?" You're like, "Well, I haven't lived there in a dozen years." Like, well, moron, where the fuck are you from? Where are you going back?
And you're like, I don't know. Let me call my friend Tim and fucking ask him if I'm allowed to answer this question.
Keystone Cops, Tim and Kevin on the phone. They'll give me the jurisdiction on where I'm from.
My friend Shannon got bit in the bum by a bear. Isn't that crazy?
I'm calling Shannon right now.
Call fucking up right now.
I texted her. I didn't get a response.
This is unreal. Bear's freaking out in.
I texted, "Are you the Shannon that got bit by
Slack.
the bear?"
Yeah.
Amazing.
I hope she answers.
Exclusive interview.
I really hope she answers.
Oh, wow.
You got to keep calling. She's probably. I hope she's not in pain. Actually, first off, Shannon, I hope you're okay. But second off, if you're okay, answer your damn phone.
She's smiling and laughing in the interviews. Joey calls out from the chat, pointing us to the chat where Mike L says, "The Golden Gatekeeper." That's good.
I hate this.
That's good.
I hate this. I'm going to assume Shannon's okay.
You know what I mean? Again, Tim, look at this. Look, we're 26 minutes into the podcast now. Think of the journey we've been on, right? We're just having a great time here.
Making good points.
Small world somehow. Our Alaskan friend we've known forever to be from Alaska got bit on the ass by a bear.
Shannon, just for the audience to understand this, like Shannon Stevens was with us when Kind of Funny was first formed at VidCon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Shannon was someone we worked with.
She is.
Yeah, we worked very closely with her for a long period of time, and we are such great friends that we read her name in an article, completely glossed over it, and never followed up with her to see if it was really her who had gotten injured by this attack.
I thought I made a comment about it during the thing, but it's like what they said, Alaskan woman. Yeah, like,
I wouldn't have guessed it. But I mean, that's the kind of crack fucking pot journalism you're getting on metro.co.uk or wherever we pulled this story
I'm sick of these
from.
hacks, coming in and not calling Tim and Kevin to decide where people are actually from and what can be said about where they are. You know what I mean?
Again, I don't think Kevin has a dog in this fight. I think this is Tim's.
Oh, Kevin was very quickly on Tim's side.
Was he? Okay.
Kevin, here's the thing: if this is a cop show,
Sorry,
Tim pulls up in his cop car, right? And it says K9 unit on it. You're like, oh, he's got a dog in there. He throws open this. It's Kevin. Kevin jumps out. You know what I mean? Like Kevin's there. Turns out Moose is riding shotgun. Kevin's the one in the back.
Moose is the one taking the report.
No,
he's
expect it.
He's like, I think I heard someone screaming in there. He's like, did you? He's like, do you want to wait for that warrant? And then Kevin just busted the door.
Oh my God.
What a fucking
housekeeping for you, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, if you didn't know, we have a very good friend named Josh McCouga, and Josh McCouga, along with his wife Amanda, have welcomed Rosie, their daughter, their first child, into the world. We would love it if you went over to twitter.com/Josh McCouga. Send him some sweet, nasty love. Let him know, hey, you're going to be a great dad because you're a great person. We love Josh very, very much. We're so excited for him and Amanda, of course. Go give Amanda some love, too.
Great name, by the way, Rosie Bernadette McCouga. And that is the greatest name ever. I love it. I mean, again, I was trying to get him to name her Nick, but he was not into that for some reason. I don't know why. But well, maybe, number 2. We'll see.
Exactly. Yeah.
At Extra Life, a couple years ago now, when McCouga was with us, he got really drunk. Surprise, I know.
Surprise.
And it was like 3 a.m. and he was talking to me and G. He was like, and me and Amanda, one day we're going to have a little girl, and we're going to name that little girl Mac. She's gonna be Mac McCouga, and I'm like, "That's fucking awesome."
That is a fucking rad name.
And then it's like you do the jump cut to Amanda hearing that and be like, No.
Under
no, we are not naming our daughter Mac Makuga. Gosh, Josh. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Graham of Legend, David Mintel, Recasted Podcast, Food Kid Fat City, Joy, aka Joseph O. Youssef, Aaron Not Aaron, Willie D. Billums, Alexander Noxel, Julian the Gluten-Free Gamer, Danny Rodriguez, Javi Rodriguez, King Vin, Tyler Wodan, Corey Wallerstead, Devin Holbrook, James Davis, aka at James Davis Makes, Greg, 2Gs on both of the front and the back. The nanobiologist, DJ Kento, a user of OG Social, Ricky L. Wanger, Caesar Palafox, Devin Carter, Steve Powers, Mark Freeman, Andrew C., Pizza Burgers, Ryan Trimble, Kieran O'Donnell, and Keith A. Lewis. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Wild Aces are still playing fan-controlled football. You can watch our next game Saturday against the Zappers. That's right, Johnny Football Zappers, 5 p.m. Pacific time, twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. Come watch with us. Today we're brought to you by MeUndies, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, I have to finish setting up my thing. So now, let me get this straight, Stu. You woke up one day and said, I'm going to make a social platform.
Literally, yes. I actually was on a ski lift in Mammoth by myself in December of 2017. At the time, I was a creator, really cool videos on YouTube. I also was doing social media management for luxury dealerships in Orange County. And
real quick. Yeah. I think you said that a little too, just like flippantly for people to understand. What was your YouTube channel called?
Wheelie Cool Videos. It's like really cool, but wheelie cool.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And also, I just want to throw it out. I did the intro animation for all of his videos, and every time I see it, it makes me happy.
Absolutely, Nick with the support. I ran the idea by Nick, and he was pushing me to start a YouTube channel for a while because I'm so into cars. Always have been passionate about it. Always going to car meets and stuff. He's like, dude, why don't you start filming some of this stuff? I was like, no, I'm an IT guy. I make money. And he's like, you should do it. And then after like the 10th time, I said, I'm going to do it. And of course, he fully supported me, made some videos for me. His brother helped me out. Matt was super supportive as well. So I've been having a great time doing YouTube videos. I have 46,000 subscribers, some of which are best friends. Shout out to the best friends. Really appreciate your guys' subscriber base is like the dopest. I love all the best friends. They're so kind and so genuine and so supportive. I've just been blown away every time Nick retweets me, or I came on the show a couple years ago, and the support I got is just blows me away. So, but yeah, at the time I had a YouTube channel, so I was a content creator, and I was also that enabled me to do some social media management for these luxury dealerships in Orange County. They saw my YouTube videos, they wanted to create some awesome content for the cars they were trying to sell in, and establish their social media. So I took that over. I had a bunch of friends that were photographers trying to help them out, get some jobs doing what they love. So together we partnered up and started shooting some cars. So as a creator, a social media manager, and an IT professional, at that time, I was just immersed in social, and all of the ways social platforms were lacking were just abundantly obvious. And they seemed to be intentionally limiting, why can't you post a link in the description on Instagram? It's 2021.
Yeah, it sucks.
Instagram is bit stories, TikTok reels, yet we still can't post a link in the description. So some of these things that are just core issues with today's, and even then in 2017, social media. And I felt as an IT guy for 20 years, I had the tools and the resources to potentially be the guy that started one. So I started talking to some of my developer friends and found one of my buddies, Arthur, who was ready to take that journey with me. And we just dove in head first, the two of us. And then as the mission grew, we brought on more people. And this January, we launched the production full-blown app. So we're now in the app stores for both Apple and Android. And we're taking a completely different approach to social media. Every other social platform tries to get users first and then figure out a way to monetize and build their business platform and their business model around those users. We know that is not sustainable. If you look at where Instagram has started and become, we can see that and the weird things that have happened with our data and privacy. And also Twitter and Snapchat. Twitter came out in 2012 and
12, yeah, somewhere around there.
2012, and they were only.
I got on it right around 2018, 2019.
Yeah, they were only profitable.
Cutting edge, Nick. Cutting edge.
2018.
Twitter was definitely 2008.
And
2008. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So they were only able to be profitable 2 years out of those 9. And 2020, they were not profitable again. Snapchat's never been profitable. So all these platforms just try and come out, gain market share, gain user base, and then figure out a way to monetize that traffic almost as an afterthought, it seems. And we know where that road leads. It ends up with platforms doing some maybe some weird things, which I'm sure you guys have experienced. Seeing a targeted ad about something that you've only talked about, haven't searched on Google about, and then all of a sudden, you just talk about it with your friends, all of a sudden pops up in your feed. Those types of privacy issues really struck a chord with me, and I wanted to put a platform in place that would right all of those wrongs. And that's what we've done, and it's created, it exists. We're using all of Google's flagship cloud offerings, so we can do enterprise things like content filtering, and provide features that don't even exist in some of today's most popular platforms, like content filtering, giving users the ability to select their own view-based category content filtering, and then give parents the ability to lock those settings. So if you have an underage user, you can go in, set your content filtering settings, maybe turn off DMs because you don't want them to be bullied privately, and then lock those settings with a parental PIN. That's just an example of some of the unique settings that we've came out with to try and make social just a more fun place for everybody that's involved. We charge up front for service, so that we're not going to, on the back end, try and sell your data. We're being upfront with you. Our business model is you pay for the services that we provide, and then we don't have to mess with any of your data. Having developers code all that takes a lot of time. I'd much rather focus on providing the functionality and features that our users want, as opposed to secretly taking all their data and correlating it and comparing it to all their friends to give them the most sponsored post and to intrigue advertisers to spend money with us. And that's what I see as the core issue with today's social platforms, even the ones that have come out as late as this month. There's still new platforms that are coming out, not charging for service. Let's just get users, and then we'll figure it out once we have a market share and a market base that we can advertise.
Right. It's like Clubhouse just popped, right? Like that's one of the things that we all got on. I don't understand how it works. Tim told me to get on it. Definitely one of those things. You don't understand
how anything works. I hate your profile. I signed up. I made a game over Greggy. And your profile pic. Shanna Stevens is confirming that she is the Shanna Stevens, but she can't get on the podcast right now.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
2 different versions of Nick Scarpino's face is what he has right now.
Check it out.
He's on it, so it's only love.
Yeah, exactly. True. I mean, I don't post on social a ton either, but I was just messing around with the app obviously over the last few days in anticipation for you coming, and it's cool, man. It's definitely a cool layout. Do you feel like you're up against an uphill battle on this one though?
Yeah, I was gonna say for me it was like the question would be like, how big are the balls on you and this team that you're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make a social media platform. That sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. When I started off on this project, we thought it was going to take a year and it was going to cost, around $75,000.
Oof, that sounds familiar.
As any project that you delve into, it's kind of like building a house. You soon quick that
or a studio.
You should have doubled that budget, doubled that timeline, maybe even tripled that budget or timeline, which is what happened in this case. So, absolutely, we were a little bit naive going into it, but. We did, because we learned a lot, and the thing that's great about developing a social network in 2018 is that there's so many cloud offerings. We basically could have gotten with Amazon AWS or Google's cloud platforms and had nearly identical service offerings from either. And those just enable us. So it's not hosted on a server in my office. This is hosted on an enterprise cloud platform with CDN, which is a content delivery network that allows our traffic to be buffered and cached around servers on Google all around the world. It's the same content delivery network that Google uses for YouTube.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we allow.
So it uploads it all everywhere, but then it pulls from the nearest server closest to you. Such a cool thing.
So those types of tools are available to startups like us in 2018, whereas 10 years ago that wouldn't have been the case. We would have had to start it on a server, buy a bunch of bandwidth, and then manage that load, and then scaling is much more difficult. Whereas now scaling is feasible.
But is there any risk with when you're using their servers and things like that they will be selling data on the back end?
Absolutely not. That's all privatized accounts. They don't have access to our raw data. It's all encrypted and privatized. So Google directly does not have access to our data. Not at all. No.
So then, you talk about this being a longer process of getting it going, and now it is actually out there. What do you do next? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where to, if I was in your shoes, I wouldn't know where to start. Granted, you've been planning for this longer than I have, as I've heard of, we heard about you coming on the show and you have this thing. Like, what do you do to make this go?
Absolutely. So, and the reason why my initial idea that I had when I was on that ski slope in December of 2017.
Just keeps dropping it in there, Timmy. Just keeps dropping it. No big deal.
When you're sitting,
big day.
You're all by yourself, and
listen, I know, man. You're 10 feet, 20 feet above the air. Life just looks different.
Above the air.
Exactly. But to be quite honest, I came up with a business model, and I knew that we had to charge for social in order to get away from this problem of platforms exploiting user data. So I knew that was absolutely important from the start. But I know that's a big ask, getting people to sign up for something and pay for something that they're used to getting for free.
Yeah.
So as soon as I had the idea that we were going to profit share with creators and take that $5 a month that people are signing up with OG Social, first of all, the stores, app stores take 30% right off the top. So then we're left with $3.50. We take $1 and we give $1 for every sign up to the sponsored creator that user signs up selects. So we take the power away from the platform and the algorithms and put it in the hands of the paying customers and allow them to choose, okay, who do you want the profit from your account to go to? Kind of Funny? Fantastic. You're signed up. Now Kind of Funny earns $1 a month based off of your account.
Gotcha.
Once you hit 100 signups, you are eligible for a payout of $100 a month. So this is in perpetuity for as long as those accounts are active. You earn however many sponsors per month. So if you're able to convert, 10% of your 10,000 users, you just made $1,000 per month. That's $12,000 a year, and that's not going to be affected by an algorithm. So if the algorithm changes, starts not promoting your content, your core subscriber base still has you as their sponsored creator, so you're still going to make that revenue. And
that would be great information to have before I selected Nick. I would have given this $1 to anybody else, but I turned it on and I was like, oh, there's Nick, and I clicked Nick.
That's why, Greg. That's why I haven't selected mine yet. I'm waiting, man. Let me get on the platform. Let me know what you got, guys. Sell it for me. Here you go.
Exactly. So what they're talking about is as soon as you sign up for OG Social and you log in, you're prompted with who you'd like to select as your sponsored creator, and then you can select from any of the existing OG Social users. And that person, once they hit 100 sponsors, they get eligible for a payout of $100 a month. And that's for users 13 and up all around the world. There's other platforms that require you to have like 1,000 subscribers, require you to be 18, require you to be only in the United States. And we're trying to make it accessible for everybody. If you are underage, it does require parental consent, but we are reaching all around the world for users 13 and up, and they can convert their following, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube. They're trying to convert that, monetize that following, bring it over to OG Social, $1 a month for every sponsor that you receive in perpetuity. So that's some real salary type of money for a creator that's used to kind of riding the wave of the algorithm and reacting to how are my views doing. I have 46,000 subscribers on YouTube. My last video got like 500 views. And that was the video where I'm trying to promote the social platform that I've spent the last 3 years and $300,000 of my own money to create. So I'm like, I got my YouTube channel. I'm going to be able to blast this out and get some good exposure. Didn't happen. And to be quite honest, that's crushing. I spent many years of hard work dropping a video every week. And now it seems like I can't even get in front of those people that I spent all these years.
Sure.
But is that an algorithm problem, or is that just because people follow you for car stuff and they see something that's not car stuff and they just they're maybe not as interested?
I don't know. I would answer that question with the question. You guys have 200,000 subscribers. What's your average view count? And why do you feel like that is so different? You know?
I mean, that's always obvious. Yeah. Tim probably knows the answer to that.
Tim, take it away.
I mean, well, like the main thing would just be that the way YouTube works is, you have to not only be subscribed, you have to ring the damn notification bell or else it doesn't even pop 100%. Up correctly and blah, blah, blah. So you're already being limited the amount of people that could see it, let alone how many people are they subscribed to? How many people even use the subscription service?
Correct.
Instead of just watching YouTube videos themselves.
Because we all know when you go to the YouTube homepage, that's a curated feed of what YouTube wants, what YouTube thinks that you should watch. It's not unless you click over to the subscriptions tab that you actually see all of the content from all the people that you're subscribed to. And most people, I feel like, don't even know that. Most people feel like if you subscribe to a channel, you're going to get notified when a new one comes out. That's not the case. You have to double subscribe and click the notification bell. You know, and things have changed over the years with YouTube. So it just makes it harder to get in front of this audience that you spent so much time curating. You know? And what was wrong with the chronological algorithm? You know, OG Social, we're taking it back to chronological. Our main feed, the search, and stories was all organized chronological. I don't know, that wasn't broken, but all the other platforms decided to fix it, and we know why. It's because they want to keep you in the app for as long as possible. And they use attention engineering techniques to do that. And one of those ways is not having a chronological timeline, so they can give you content in the way that they can keep you in there as long as possible. And then when you exit the app, they're going to send you push notifications to try and bring you back in by telling you about people posting that you interact with frequently and engage with frequently on social. And so all these things that social has evolved into over the years, I think is wrong. I want to take it back to the way where it was just, I mean, social media is just a timeline of pictures. It's such a simple thing. But they're pigeonholing us. And, you know, if you do click a link in bio, it opens up that link within the platform. So if I'm signed into YouTube and I click a link in your Instagram bio, I'm not watching the video signed in as me. So I can't engage on the video as myself, and that hurts your YouTube engagements because I have to close out of the Instagram, open that, copy the link, open my YouTube app, paste it, and then go in and so I can engage with the video. And then those types of things, I just think are fundamentally wrong. I feel like if you can't get in front of the audience that you've spent years curating, then the platform is broken. You know, Instagram, I feel like is the core, the biggest offender, but all of them have this, you know, suffer from the same issues.
As far as like, so dialing it back, so are you worried that with the team that you guys have, that's smaller than I imagine the Instagram team? Are you worried at all about? Maybe just a skosh. Are you worried? Like you mentioned content filtering. Are you worried about anyone like abusing the platform?
Well, we have methods to, you know, monitor that. We have an administrative control panel where we see all the posts that are made, and we have the ability to remove posts that don't meet community guidelines. If you report a post on our platform, it does not automatically get taken down like on some others, which has been a big problem. They have like report circles. So if somebody posts an image, you get 10 people to report it, that thing will get automatically taken down. On our platform, it has to be manually reviewed by one of our employees and then taken down. However, we filter the highest level of nudity and violence at time of posting. So if you try and post a naked picture, for example, it's not going to go up on the platform. You're immediately going to get a direct message saying that your post didn't go up because it violated community guidelines.
All right, I'm out.
But that's the type of thing. I know I've seen things on social from accounts that are private, and that's how they're like managing not getting reported, is they're having these accounts be private.
That makes sense. Yeah,
some
I never
of these
realized
accounts
that.
are straight up pornography. And you know, if there's
Can you give me those links?
Yeah, do we have?
I want to see what exactly.
Just for educational purposes.
Yeah, for educational.
Well, the last one I saw was a woman laying down on the ground. It was a gender reveal. She had no pants on. complete
She
bare
farted?
ass. She farted with blue smoke. You see that shit?
We've
Nick?
seen that one. Yeah, that's a classic here. Kind of funny.
Yeah.
Tim knows what I'm talking about. We watched it on Internet Explorers a while back.
Oh yeah.
I don't look at that as porn though. I look more at that as a performance art piece that I think should be everywhere. Personally speaking, and I'm actually surprised. One of our friends, Josh McCouga, goes into love. I'm surprised they didn't do that for their kid for the reveal. Because I would have gladly done that in front of Amanda. I would have done it for him.
Oh wow!
You would have done it. You would have.
The big question is, Tim. I don't know how you keep the powder like powdery when it's in there. Like, how does it not get moist by the you know what I mean? Like, Kevin can help me out here. Like,
I haven't seen the video, but like,
it's not
actually in her or whoever's farting it, right? Wouldn't it be like just on top of the asshole?
Ground. Yeah, you just put it on top of the asshole.
You just cake the hole.
In my brain, I thought they took like a tube, like a conical tube, and stuffed it in there.
Like loading a musket. They're like dumping this powder in there.
They gotta rip the thing off and spit it in the thing. I don't know.
Nick, I don't know if you remember what the name of that Internet Explorers episode was, but we titled it "How Did She Get That in There?"
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That was one of those things. I mean, that is obviously the marvel of social media, and I feel like each platform itself has those specific like eccentricities. Where like Twitter, I know is kind of wild west. Instagram, I kind of look forward to have a little bit more sanity when it goes into these things. I say a little bit more, just a little bit more, but yeah, because there's a lot of stuff on Instagram that I'm like, if we're not flagging this
right now, Nick.
Well, I mean, you your
Instagram follows.
I mean,
violence.
Oh no, yeah, that's very true. I mean, I follow a lot of nature Instagram feeds that are like, here's a fucking lion ripping a horse apart, and I just love them. I think they're so cool, but everyone thinks I'm weird for it, guys. I don't understand.
Would that be a thing that just happens in nature? Why is
that in Africa? Oh, it's a zebra. Excuse me. There's usually like a zebra. Like I'll rip a zebra apart, or some sort of big elk that looks like a horse, but I don't know the name of it. I don't fucking know the name. If it looks like if it's got 4 legs and it's taller than me, it's a horse. Okay.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I see. You showed your work. I saw how you got there. Did
I get the A, Professor Miller?
Yeah, you did. You crushed it. So, Stu, for this, like, you talk about all the money you've invested in it, all the time you've invested in it. For you, like, what are the margins? What are what are the barometers of success? Like, what do you need this app to do? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely, and that's a great question. And because we're charging up front and from the start, we don't need as large of a user base to be profitable. Like some of the other platforms where they're trying to monetize and sell ads to millions of users. Once we hit 20,000 users, we'll be paying creators out over $1 million a month. Wow. I'm sorry, $1 million a year. Sorry about that.
I was like, damn, I'm on.
Yeah. Everybody stop tagging Nick.
Yeah, so we don't need that many users, but obviously we're built and ready to scale to whatever we do attract. But no, we do not need a humongous user base, and we're looking at this like it's not going to be for everybody because it does cost, and we're not trying to be exclusive, but we want to protect the privacy of our users. And I know as a small business owner that you can't start a business and not be profitable for 6 years. I've never done business that way. That just blows my mind. And even once you do hit profit, if you're a publicly traded company, year over year profits have to continue to increase. So Instagram made 80 billion last year. Next year, they have to do 90 billion. Otherwise their stock is going to go down. And then following year, they need to do 100 billion. Otherwise their stock's going to go down. So what does that mean for the users? That means more ads. That means them dictating the platform that's going to make them money and not based on what you and us want to use. And I see that as the biggest disconnect and conflict of interest that exists in social. And that's why I just want to say, come out, provide the service, pay up front, and we're going to profit share with the creators, because I know the creators and the influencers, that's the bread and butter of social. Social was built off of creators like you guys and influencers where, we have subscribers and fans that want to see the content we're putting out. And social media is the tool that allows that to happen. So at some point, the tool became a monster of itself. But I want to keep the platform as the tool to service our customers, which are users and creators, as opposed to the other big platforms whose customers are brands and advertisers, the people who are spending money on ads. Us as the users, we are not the customers for big social anymore. We started out that way. They sold us. They got our market share, and now they're just using that to turn a profit, and more profit every year. And a lot of big platforms like Twitter and Snapchat are still struggling to be profitable, even now after being around for over a decade.
So is 20K sort of your break-even point where you're like, okay, this is where we know we need to get to, and that's the first kind of indicator, or is that just a number you threw out because it sounds really cool?
I mean the platform's built, so at this point we are
sky's the limit. The more the merrier, kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. But the cloud hosting fees, to keep your data in the cloud storage, that costs. To have a CDN, a content delivery network all around the world, that costs. To have a content filter scan every picture and every frame of every video that's posted, that costs. So there are costs associated with social media, and we just want to charge up front for those, like a typical honest business would, as opposed to trying to gain market share and then figure out what to do once we got 2 million users.
Well, one of the things that was actually like interesting, and I had a reaction to this that I had to like examine it myself, was I posted my first picture and it said your picture will be ready after it's gone through content filter. And I was like, how dare you not just immediately trust that I'm posting something fine and put it up on the internet for everyone and kids and people to see? How dare you do that? And then I was like, oh, that's actually kind of a smart idea that you have to wait a half a second. Obviously, it's going to ruffle some feathers, though, when people get in there. But I think it's I have to imagine it's for the betterment of humanity across the board to a degree.
Right. And you see, we had to be, when you do post a picture, it gives you that kind of paragraph long description of what we're going to do with that picture and why we're accessing your camera. And Apple requires that. Our app was denied several times in the approval process on several different builds for multiple different reasons. But one of the main ones was the definition of why we're accessing your camera.
Mm-hmm.
Apple scrutinizes very heavily apps that are submitted to the App Store for review. And then before they approve them, they really heavily scrutinize all the features and functionality. Google Play, Android, much less, but Apple
not so much. Google Play, Android, you can do anything on those platforms; they don't care.
Right, which is weird because everybody develops on Apple first. Typically, like Clubhouse, they're only Apple, and then once they figure out all the platform, they just mirror it over to Android. I didn't want to do that because I know a lot of IT guys love Android phones. I'm an Apple user myself, but I didn't want to just ignore 50% of the market. So we developed Android and Apple alongside and released them at the same time.
Good job. That is so key.
We have quite a few Android people here too. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it took 3 years. I originally wanted to get it out in a year. I felt that time was of the essence, and I had this idea, and I was very excited to get it out to the marketplace before anybody else came across this idea, if you will, of essentially charging and then profit sharing with creators. But still nobody has. Until this date, all these other platforms are still coming out. I'll mention one of them. David Dobrik just announced his Dispo. He made a disposable camera app, which is essentially, no offense to David, a knockoff of Huji, another disposable.
The fuck is Huji?
Get
the hell out of here.
He's making all this stuff up to sound cool, like he did his research. He's just making things up.
It's a camera app. You take a picture, it makes it look like a disposable camera. So David created an app that did that, and then at the end of last year announced that he was going to create a social network that was built off of that Dispo. He just announced his beta release earlier this month, in which they got 10,000 users overnight because it's David Dobrik. He's got a huge exposure. The problem I have with these platforms that are coming out is that how are they going to monetize? What's their business plan to be profitable? And we can't just say, well, wait.
David Dobrik, pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean, if he wants to make money, he's not doing this for free. It costs a lot of money to hire talent and make a platform. So what's his plan for profitability? And that has not been answered yet. There's been several articles written. Nowhere does it say what they're going to do. And, we're just left to assume that they're going to do the typical thing of gain market share, gain a bunch of users, and then advertise to those users, sell ads to those users once we have a few million. And I think that's fundamentally wrong. and in addition, once you look through a feed of all pictures that look like a disposable camera, you come to the realization very soon that filter doesn't really work on all pictures. It makes a lot of pictures just look like bad pictures. Some of them look really cool. If it's like a nighttime picture of people with the flash, it's like overexposed. It looks really cool. But if it's a picture of a food or something normal, it just looks like a bad photo. And they've released, and they're only supporting photos and only on iOS. They don't have stories. They don't have video. So all the features and functionality that you would expect from modern social are left out of these platforms that are coming to market and announcing early, where we've chose to hold off. We know we got one shot at this. So we went in hard, developed every single feature that we thought that users would want and that's important to them, and then release. And we kept the profit sharing, the sponsored creator program, close to our chest. We only announced that last month. We were in beta basically in March of 2020, but we didn't share anything about our sponsored creator program because we were worried that we were going to get knocked off. So now we've come out, we've announced, and for all these new up-and-comers on TikTok that have gotten 100,000, 1 million followers in 6 months, and they're trying to figure out a way to monetize those followers, a lot of them are going to YouTube. But as you guys know, going from creating a 10-second, 30-second dance-along, sing-along video where you're not really talking or engaging with the camera to creating long-format videos that need to be edited and you have to engage and speak, that's hard. That's a completely different skill set. And TikTokers are struggling with that. So we want to give these new influencers a way to take their following on one social platform that they're not able to monetize, and instead of promoting their content on Instagram for free or Twitter for free, recommend OG Social, and it kind of creates like a fan club. So it's not all of your users, all of your fans, but it's your closest fans, and they're going to get to engage with you in a smaller environment, kind of like seeing a concert at like a small venue versus like going to a big stadium. In that smaller venue, you get to hear all of the voices a little bit more, and they're not lost in the thousands of comments on the traditional platforms.
Question. Actually, I have a comment and a question. Number one, I think it's important to point out that you weren't brought on to do this whole thing. Like I'm authentically fascinated by the fact that you're starting a social platform. So this isn't any kind of sponsorship. I want to make sure we're making that very clear. Okay. Number two, my question, and I think it would be a concern is, or I guess my question is, do you have the concern that this could turn into a whole bunch of different creators coming onto the platform who are just trying to get monetized, and then there's no audience coming through? So it's this weird hodgepodge of people who have gone there to try to make money, but they're not following each other, interacting with each other. So they're just this weird microcosm of creators with no audience.
That's an excellent question. And I don't, because I know the creators are the best people to convey a message to their own audience. That's what they do for a living. They are influencers. They make a product. I like Red Bull, and if I say I like Red Bull, people like me, they're like, oh, maybe I should check out Red Bull. It's genuine. If they try a Red Bull and they get sick off of it, that blowback is on the influencer and the creator. So there is some accountability there. But for creators and influencers that take it seriously and that promote OG Social to gain that following, to gain that $1 a month per sponsor, the sky's the limit for them as far as converting their user base. Yeah, and that's
I do want to point out right now I have more followers than Nick. Everybody, so just
good. That's what matters. Literally more than anything.
We've dethroned him over there. We don't have to worry about it. Shout out to all the kind of funny best friends currently signing up as there's Corey. You got Corey.
Can you be verified on this app?
No, that's a great question. Can I get verified?
No. What is verified?
It's something I get to hold over Nick's head.
Yeah. Sounds like a mistake on your part.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
And we're going to evolve. The whole thing is I want to listen to our user base and creators. And if there's a resounding voice that says, yes, we want this blue check mark, then maybe we'll consider it. But initially, no. I don't see any reason for verified or non-verified. We know there's a Tim Gettys. We know there's a Nick Scarpino. There can only be one of each user account, so I don't understand the reason to be verified.
Well, that's what's interesting about it. What I find fascinating is you teach me about it and tell me about it, right, is this idea of like so many people are going to be turned off by the price point and the subscription, but correct me if I'm wrong, that sounds like what you want. You don't want just everybody coming in and just a sea of content that is people just tossing up. It sounds like you're actually going for a thing that is, I look at my right, and granted, it's because we're live right now, we're doing the show with the people in the chat, but I see the names in there that I see every week there, right? Like I know these people. I see Corey follow me. I see DJ Kento follow me. Like it is the people that we know right now, and you would hope for that level of interaction, it sounds like.
Absolutely. And I don't, hope. I hope that, anybody that comes over wants to, but you're right. We don't need the quantity of user base. We're going for quality and not quantity. Absolutely. And another thing that we're going for with the paid service is because there's no free accounts, it means there's no fake accounts. So you can't just have some start up this bullshit email account, sign up for a Finsta, and then start talking shit on people and not care if the account gets turned off. If that happens on OG Social, your account will get shut down and there's not going to be a refund. So after time, that's going to start hitting that person's wallet, and it's just not going to be fun for them anymore. So that's what we're trying. Another benefit of charging for service is it increases user accountability, where their actions are tied to their wallet. So they should think twice before saying and doing certain things.
Sure, yeah, there's actual consequences, right? Because it is small, and that's what you're going for. Exactly.
And for another reason on the bullying thing, that's why we've chosen to also give the users the ability to turn off and disable their DMs. Some companies don't want to check their DMs. They just want people to use the existing communication channels like a contact form on their website or whatever. But other underage users fall victim to bullying in their DMs because it's not in the public space. It's not on a post, so people can say things and think that they're getting away with it. So for that reasons, we've given users the ability to turn off their DMs. For underage users, their DMs are disabled by default. If you're an underage user, you can have your parent turn off your DMs and then lock that setting so they can't turn them back on. And that just, if somebody's going to say something to that user, it's going to be on a post, and then that's going to be in a public forum, and then they're susceptible to any type of recourse based on those negative comments.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to harass Andy then if I can't DM him?
You can harass him. You just can't.
Poor underage Andy.
Bully him. Yeah.
I think of Andy sometimes as
question
underage.
right now in our live chat. Somebody's saying, I'm asking if this comment is bullying. DJ Kento says, I just commented on Nick's photo. Greg has more followers than you. Like, that's fact.
Oh,
that could be interpreted.
Ready? How do you do that? You signed up 2 minutes ago. How the fuck
that
do
can
you
be
already...
interpreted as bullying, but really, when you're just telling the facts, it's more of a news organization thing than anything else.
I don't look at it. I don't look at it as bullying. I look at it more as just like I gotta just take a second, look inward, and be better. I just got to be better.
I've been saying for years you need to be better, but I've also been saying for years, ladies and gentlemen, that patreon.com/kindafunny keeps the lights and mics on. Of course, you can go there to be part of the show. You could be watching live right now, just like DJ Kento, who confirms. I'm just informing. He's just informing what's happening over on OG.
But there's a way to inform.
I think I'd love to. I'm in the middle of the rigmarole. You can't. Sorry, I'd love to let you get a word in edgewise, but we can't because we're still talking about Patreon. Kind of funny. You can go there, the post show, all that jazz. But you could also go there to get the show ad free. But guess what? You didn't go there. So let me tell you about our sponsor. This episode of the Kinda Funny podcast is brought to you by MeUndies. Guess what? No need for me to look at the copy because, of course, we love MeUndies. If you didn't know, MeUndies has supported Kinda Funny for a long Kevin time. They've been supporting us forever, and not only that, they've been supporting my junk forever because I wear MeUndies all the time. If you didn't know, a long time ago, long time ago, I started with a little trial pair of MeUndies. I think for an old sponsorship, and I liked them so much I threw away the rest of my underwear, and I just ordered more MeUndies, and I've done that ever since, getting new patterns and cool sizes and all sorts of not cool sizes, cool patterns. The sizes, I guess, are cool. I mean, they fit me real snug, and I like that. They also got, of course, the onesies. They also got the lounge pants. They also got the T-shirts. Tim wears all that. I focus mainly on the underwear because I need good underwear. And I'll tell you what, podcasting at home from this chair all the time, sometimes because of this chair, my butt will get hot, and then the MeUndies keep me cool. They keep the air moving down there, Kevin. Have you ever thought about that, Kevin? How much air is moving down there for me?
Yep, lots.
Lots of air is moving down there for me. And it could for you too, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't you go support MeUndies? I know what you're thinking. Oh, man. What's the next holiday coming up? St. Patrick's Day, maybe your mom's birthday. I don't know. There's something coming up. And you know what? You're going to forget about it, right? You're not going to be able to get them anything good. You're going to do that thing you always do. You're like, I'll order flowers. Oh, shit, it's tomorrow. You try to order the flowers, and guess what? It took too long. You didn't do it in time. You're like, ah, shucks, I messed this up. And you know what you send them? A rattlesnake. And they don't want a rattlesnake. They want undies. Get them an underwear subscription. Do whatever. MeUndies are made with sustainable, breathable, softer than soft fabric, and they come in a whole bunch of sizes. There's a MeUndies membership now. You can do that. You can get underwear delivered to your door. You can deliver it to your friends and family for a present. Why not do this? Scare the neighbor. Just send it to them. You know what I mean? Here's what I would do. And I'm just spitballing, Kevin. We're brainstorming. There's never a bad idea when it comes to MeUndies, all right?
I don't know.
Who do you know in your neighborhood? And what, like, have you thought about, like, did they have a grandparent that died like a decade ago? Send them the MeUndies membership. Send them the thing. Because you know what you do then? You put a little note in there from the dead person from a decade ago. And then they're like, this didn't exist a decade ago. I told you there's no ad copy. I can say whatever I want. I love MeUndies, and I love giving my listeners ideas. And this is a dynamite idea. Don't you want to be in the local paper? But you wouldn't be in the paper, I guess. Just the person who's like talks to their Lois Lane or whatever and is like, I don't know. You can see. I guess it wouldn't be in the paper either because now I'm envisioning it being on the local news. And they're talking. They're like, I don't know what happened. Grandmama died a decade ago, and she never talked about MeUndies, but now I'm getting these MeUndies. And the reporter will be like, oh, guardian angel out there for MeUndies is making sure everybody gets undies, I guess, in this family. You know what I mean? And then you get to be across the street sipping your coffee, or I guess watching it on the news. Either one. You're watching them record it, then you're also watching it later on TV. And you share. I want you to send me links. When this happens, you tweet me links of this, all right? Because I want to see it, Kevin. And I tell you right now, MeUndies can make it happen. You can help out Granny, or I guess no, you'd help out the grandkid and make a memory. Don't you want to make a memory for somebody? 80 years from now, these people are robots. They're talking other robots. Like, and then this happened. Because we'll be robots in 80 years, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? AIs and things like that. Johnny Mnemonic, you've seen the movie. Anyways, buy some underwear from MeUndies. They have a great offer for my listeners. Any first-time purchasers get 15% off and free shipping. MeUndies also has their problem-free philosophy. If you're not satisfied with any product for any reason, they'll refund or exchange it. No caveats, no questions. To get 15% off your first order and help out a grandkid who wants to be an 80-year-old robot, and free shipping, go to MeUndies.com/morning. That's MeUndies.com/morning. Act like a dead grandparent. So then, yeah, like, Stu, to put a pin in this, obviously OG Social available now, like you said, Android, iOS, very, very interesting. How much research did you have to do on social media in terms of like looking into all these different companies, your competitors, and then also what is the most horrible thing you found? I want to put a pin in. I want to put a pin in all this social media stuff with that.
I mean, I've been working on it every day for 3 years, so it's a long time, and every day I learn something new and discover something new. When I first started this idea, I started the platform and had the idea for it. I had not yet experienced receiving a sponsored post about something that I only talked about. So that happened after. It happened in like mid-2018. So, and that is still today one of the most disturbing things that I've experienced, specifically on Instagram. I know I'm an IT guy. I know what things I've Googled. I've talked about like a collapsible workbench with my client that folds up against the garage. And then the next time I open Instagram, boom,
there it is.
Ad for that exact thing. Yeah. Another conversation with one of my friends telling him, don't waste your money on custom headlights for your car. You know, they got the LEDs and the cool little rings. And I'm like, don't waste your money for that shit. You can barely pay your rent. Next time I open up Instagram, boom, an ad for custom fucking headlights. And I don't search for that shit. Where is it coming from? I only spoke about it. Now with iOS 14, Apple has taken some steps to let you know if there's apps using your microphone or your camera. You get that little orange and green light.
Yeah.
So they can't do some of those things anymore. However, as recent as Valentine's Day this year, I was on the beach with my wife and another couple. It was super windy. We're trying to light a bonfire. I brought one Duraflame log and a mini Bic. My wife asked me, Stu, you want to bring like a bigger lighter because it's going to be windy? I'm like, no, I got the Duraflame and a mini bake. I'm straight. So no, I was not. We lit the
this did not go the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Just the paper lit up around it. The log did not catch at all. So we were SOL. So I sent the girls over to the next campfire over to see if they could recruit a man with more firepower, literally. And this dude came over with a freaking miniature propane tank and a attachment that clipped on and was literally a flamethrower torch.
Sick.
I was blown away. He lit it, got it lit in like 30 seconds. I took a video of it. The next time I went into Instagram, I got an ad for a freaking blowtorch that attached to a propane tank. I've never researched it. I've never Googled it. I asked my buddies that were there with me. I'm like, did you guys Google this? Because Instagram does correlate the Google searches of your friends and then give you sponsored posts based on what they searched as well as what you searched. But they didn't. So I know now for a fact that Instagram is going through and using AI to identify objects and things in your photos and video, just like you can do on iOS when you go into your albums and search, and you can say, I want to search for
you're playing a dangerous game.
Yeah, I know, right? Going to your camera roll.
You gotta be careful with that. Don't do that.
Be careful, sir.
We don't edit this show, so if there's
you don't want to pull a Chris Evans over here, all right?
I mean, maybe you do, depending on what you're packing down there.
All right.
Hot heat.
Apple gives you the ability to search through your camera roll. If I search for puppies, it'll show me pictures of my miniature dachshunds. Shout out to Greg. Yeah. But Instagram, when you give them access to your entire camera roll, they are now doing the same thing. So I took a video, they accessed that video, scanned that video, and then served me a sponsored post based on that video. And that was all in the background without me having anything to do with it. And that is creepy. Yeah. I think it's absolutely wrong. It's disgusting. And they're just doing that stuff to make even more and more money, which they have to do if they don't want their stock prices to fall. Because even though they made $80 billion last year, that's not going to be enough for 2021. They're going to have to top that. And that is what scares me the most, is what's going to come next then.
Counterpoint, I got this jacket.
He did. Tim, by the way, you're not preaching to the choir, unfortunately. Tim loves the fact that they just serve him the ads and give him exactly what he wants.
He is lying about this story. Literally, I've had a leather bomber jacket like this for years, but it got ripped up and kind of like just looked shitty. And I have not been able to find one since like 2016. And I look all the time, but it's always sold out. There's always stuff. So I literally just started talking to Gia, holding my phone, just being like, men's leather bomber jacket. And I just kept doing it. And I just kept talking about how I can't find it. And then boom. Shout out to Leon's Leather Jackets or whatever the fuck I got served.
Yeah, I love Leon.
What year was this? Tim, when was this?
Like 3 weeks ago.
Yes, 3 weeks ago.
That's wild.
He loves it. He loves it.
I love it.
So when I'm all down, I agree. Sponsored posts and targeted ads can work out good, like that example that you said. However, from a lot of people that I've talked to and seen posts on Instagram, some of the stuff being sold on these platforms is absolute crap. And there's zero barrier to entry because anybody has the ability to pay for a sponsored post and get that content viewed. There's a lot of not quality products being sold from Chinese manufacturers. They're doing like the Alibaba, drop ship stuff and just doing posts on sponsored posts on Instagram. If you watch Shark Tank, everybody's whole business plan is sponsored posts on Instagram and how much is your acquisition cost for each customer. And they're all using sponsored posts. That can be great for small to medium businesses to get exposure, but it also
Salt and Straw. We just did that today. I did not look at Salt and Straw on my phone, right? We just did that during this podcast, and there it is.
But you didn't even say Salt and Straw. I said
no, but I Googled it on my thing, right?
Okay.
If you Googled it, that's open market. Yeah.
Sure. No, I know. I'm saying though. I'm just talking about it. Yeah. But to your point of like how much of our feed is actually our feed and how much of it is like Google results and ads.
And like, who are the idiots out there that are actually buying masks that have like LED things on them so that you can make yourself look like whoever you want? You know
whatever
what I mean?
happened to that? You just throw it away when you didn't want to look like Kevin anymore?
No, it's right over there.
Okay, yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah. Oh, he's getting
Well,
it.
all right.
Make yourself look like Stu when you come back.
Make yourself look like DJ Kento from OG Social. That's amazing.
That's
what I like to see.
Screenshot his thing, bring it over, put it on.
Yeah,
but my point that I was trying to make with the sponsored ads, there's no accountability. So if I create some company, I call it goldmoneyguns.com. I can sell as many of these gold money guns I want to people on social. They can be complete crap. They can not even work. There's no accountability because I can just start another company name and then have sponsored ads on that post. It's not even a company. It's an Instagram account tied to an email account. So, we can get as many free email accounts as we want. We can get as many free Instagram accounts as we want. So the fact there's no accountability in that marketplace is bad for consumers.
Now, this is what you're up against here, Stu. You said all these wonderful things, made very, very salient points, as they say. And Tim was like, at some point, I'm getting the thing that fucking I bought through one of these sponsored ads. I didn't need that is making him look psychotic
look
right
at him.
now.
He looks like the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon right now.
It's like very true. You do look like a cat.
I don't know if you ever looked at a cat before.
I don't know. Cheshire cat.
Cheshire cat.
Tim, are you good with with an ad every fourth post though? Has that gotten annoying to you?
I'm the wrong person to be asking.
You are. Tim loves it all.
My shit is so the amount of ads that I have followed is disturbing.
Wow.
All right. Tim loves it all. Tim's the opposite. Tim just goes with the flow, and wherever it takes him, that's where he is. And as long as it has a plethora of leather bomber jackets, he's happy.
Yeah. Dude, the amount of times I'll be watching TikTok with Jenna, but I'll do it on my phone because she wants to see what the algorithm will get to me. And I'll be watching a video, and she goes, You can skip this. And I'm like, what? Oh, it's an ad? Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm a fucking moron.
Yo, TikTok ad content is top tier. Their shit's so good. It is better than the normal content. I would say 8 out of 10 times. Maybe 16 out of 20.
But they're also putting way fewer TikTok ads. There's like one per I don't even know, 20 posts. Instagram's just gotten out of hand. And like I said, they're going to have to continue to go more and more ads if they want to increase profitability.
Yeah, to keep their numbers up.
Yeah. So
Instagram.
Yeah, the road is just, we know where this road is going. And what if it's an ad every 3 posts? Is that going to be okay? I mean, most people don't watch ads anymore on TV. They fast forward through them or they record their show. I just find it mind-boggling that there's so many users that are okay with this free platform that just serves them a ridiculous amount of ads and stories as well. It's just so many ads, curated or not, or targeted or not. It's too many. But the main thing is the privacy. Where are they getting this data that they're using to target its ads? Way too far with that, and it has repercussions. And at some point, users are going to be sick of it. There's several users that are sick of it now. Some people like Tim love being sold stuff, and I feel you. But I feel like we all need to take a stand for our privacy, and let these big tech companies know that there is a limit to the amount of exploitation that you can do with our data. And there's a line, and I think they've already way crossed it. I mean, obviously they've had 2 huge meetings with Congress, and where they were, deposed about specifics about how their data collection. And the truth is, only Instagram and Facebook knows how and what their app is doing. Apple App Store, there's no way that they can delve through those lines of codes, even as particular and as heavily scrutinizing they are over apps. They still can't go into all of the code and know specifically what the app is doing. Only Instagram and Facebook knows, and that's a huge problem. And on top of that, they made $80 billion a year last year. How much of that did they share with creators? 0. None. They came out with Instagram TV as more of a long format. They said they were going to run ads on that, and they were going to monetize and allow creators to monetize based on Instagram TV. But that never happened. I listened to an interview with the CEO of Instagram as late as December of last year, and he was like, one of the questions posed was, when are you guys going to allow creators to monetize? And his answer was, that's a really good question, and we're really trying to figure out the best way to implement that. Like, bro, it's 2020. You guys have knocked off every other feature of every other successful social platform, and you can't figure out a way to convert your 80 million and give some of that profit share to creators. And the reason is because if they do start profit sharing, then that's going to eat into their margins. That's going to lower their revenues. So they're going to have to basically one-to-one increase their ads for what they're paying out. And that's
part of
difficult.
I think what you're talking to is like the idea that most people don't think of what they post on social media as their content creators. I always talk about how VidCon changed my life, literally, right? We went there for Up at Noon, and that's where I fell in love with YouTube. But on that flight back was when I was like, I want to do the Oreo show, and I want to talk to Colin, and I want to do this stuff, and that would all become kind of funny. But I remember that first VidCon, one of the panels we were in, there was a panel, I forget what it was about, but they were one of the people was bagging on YouTube, and it was kind of like an airing of grievances that everything YouTube had done, right? And how shitty the ad share is, and yada, 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 rev share is. And somebody on the panel stopped and was like, listen, I agree, like it sucks, but it's also worth pointing out that YouTube's the only one that is giving you money back. Like
right.
you go on Twitter and you make tweets and they're selling your tweets, but they're not paying you. You go on Instagram, you make this content, they're selling your stuff, but they're not paying you. Like this is at least something versus the nothing other people are doing.
Yeah, YouTube is now the gold standard on monetization. And that's why these TikTok influencers are trying to convert their user base to YouTube. But that's very different content, as you guys know. But yeah, YouTube's the best at profit sharing. But nobody else has really caught up or even seemed to care to try. Snapchat introduced Snapchat Spotlight at the end of 2020, December 2020, where they said that they were going to give millions of dollars to creators based on their content. The problem I have with this is, Snapchat's never been profitable. They lose about $200 million per quarter since they've rolled out. So they lose almost $1 billion every single year. And yet they're going to start paying creators now. Like, where is this funny investment money coming from? But the second problem I have with that is they're starting top down. So they're giving the money to the biggest creators that don't have issues getting brand deals, who are already, making plenty of money and making a healthy living off of their following. And those are the people that are getting even more money off Snapchat because they're trying to attract those big creators. We want to start from the bottom up. We want the small guys, and that's why we've set the threshold at just 100 followers or 100 sponsors in order to get paid out. That's real money. That's $1,200 a year, and especially in today's time, that's good money. I've made $300 a month off of my YouTube account. That was pretty much the height, but because I make evergreen content about cars that are always somewhat relevant, somebody's always looking for a BMW M3. I've been able to kind of sustain that $200 to $300 per month, and that's decent money for me. That's a car payment. That's how I equate it.
Sure.
But to a lot of people, that's food on the table, and that is real money. Whereas other platforms, they either don't pay or they say you might get this one-time payment of several $1,000s if you meet this imaginary threshold that we're not even going to disclose. It's very difficult to get behind that, and especially when the company itself has never been profitable, I don't feel like that's sustainable. I feel like that's a temporary marketing ploy in order to gain users, in order to use their traffic to sell sponsored ads against. And that's the same thing that we've seen before. And our platform is the only one that's making that core change. And that does require a monthly fee for the service.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, that's your business model, right? And I think that's it. I think you said something earlier too that I thought was salient for the point, right? Of the very, very beginning of you guys charging for something that people are used to being free. And I think that there's such a big thing. I always talk about the, lesson the one and only Tim Gettys taught me early on with Kind of Funny of when we were doing the Game Over Greggy show or getting ready to start the Game Over Greggy show. And it was that idea of like, we were trying to figure out if we're going to put it on Bandcamp and sell early access through Bandcamp. It was before Patreon. And I remember being like, no, let's not. We can just do that later. And Tim being like, listen, I understand what you're saying, but like if we want this to be a serious business, we can't change it later. If you once you establish what your business model is, that's what it is. And so it would be so different if you were launching OG Social and you were saying it's free right now, and then in 6 months you're like, let's do memberships, let's do subscriptions. Here it is that easy thing of like it's $4.99 a month or whatever. And so it's like, okay, either you get that and you understand why you pay for that, or you don't and you walk away and it's not your thing. Like you're setting up a business around it.
Right. And we absolutely could be free for the first 6 months if we wanted to, but then that goes against the message of having our influencers and creators promote the platform in order to get that dollar spiff per user that signs up. Either we're going to be free and there's not going to be any profit sharing, or we're going to charge and there's going to be profit sharing from the jump. And that's what I'm excited about. You know, right now, you guys could convert 100 followers and make $100 a month. You could convert 10,000 followers and get $10,000 a month. We have a global pay partner called Tipalti. They're a huge expert in the payment space, and they allow us to send money all around the world through PayPal or ACH for as little as $1 a transaction. We will send you that money every month digitally. And it's all legit, and you submit your 1099 or W-9 through them, and all of your secure payment information is stored on their secure service. OG Social and our employees don't have access to that, so it's completely separate. They're essentially a bank and have all the infrastructure behind them to have that security in place. So we've gone and selected all of the top tier partners to help us roll out this dream. And because it's 2020, all of this technology is readily available as a cloud hosting or a per user service that allows us to take advantage of that and employ expertise in the field that already exists, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So you don't have to trust OG Social with your W-9 and social security number. Even though we do have tremendous security measures in place, that type of personal information is not stored on our servers. Just the information that you give us at sign up, which is your birthday and name. And we just use your birthday to qualify if you're over 18. So if we need to impose some of those more higher restrictive content filtering and direct message policies that are all user configurable. And that's another thing we've tried to do when we came to the decision of configuring this out. What side do you want to put the icons on? Let's make that user configurable. If it's an option and we can make it user configurable, let's give the users an option to select that and give them that option in settings so they can change it. So you can select how long you want the pictures to play in stories. Do you like 1 second, 3 seconds, 5 seconds? Of course, you can tap through it and pause, but the default playback timer is a user configurable option, as well as the viewable content filtering settings, quick react emojis, whether you're right or left-handed. So these quick emojis will be on the right or left hand of the screen, so you don't have to reach all the way over. These types of things we thought about before we configured them, like we were starting a platform from the ground up. We took the core features that everybody kind of is used to and expects, with the chronological timeline and stories and search, but then created a slideshow mode. So you can turn your entire feed. If I tap this play button up here at the top, it turns my entire feed into a tappable interface that you're used to on stories. So you tap right to go forward, left to go back.
Look at you, piece of shit.
You see how much more powerful I am than you already?
How many fucking followers does he have right now? How many followers does he have right now? 10.
He's got 10 followers. We also
what am I playing?
We also give creators the ability to hide or show this.
No, we got to show that.
Go ahead and hide it, you Nick, you coward.
I'm not fucking hiding shit, bro. I don't hide from you.
On yours. Look at this. You have 10 followers too. What was my engagement score though? Nick's is 16. What's mine? 22. I have a 22 engagement though, Nick.
I don't even know what that is. Is higher engagement better or lower engagement better? Is this golf?
It's over.
Is this like golf? I don't even know.
It's not like golf.
The engagement score is just a total amount of all the views, reactions, and comments. A sum total of all that for the particular profile. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Here's my.
You can see the search feed. That's awesome because so everybody gets a chance to be featured in search. This isn't curated. This is chronological. So just as you post, like Nick, he's got the big square right now. So depending on when you post and when you're looking at it, everybody gets a chance to be featured in the larger thumbnails. And everybody's search looks the same. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it, man.
Yeah, congratulations. You know what I mean? Like, it's 3 years of hard work to get to this point to get it out. And I don't know many people who have said, I'm starting my own social platforms, dude. So, yeah, it's awesome, that you've done this. This is really incredible.
Sexy beast right there, right over his right shoulder.
No, get that off.
I want to give a shout out also that Stu just gave an amazing presentation on this wonderful app. And half the time I was like, is that our fucking high school marching band letter that he's got over his shoulder? Is that from BSR?
Right. That's it, dude.
Now, Tim, I want to show you something. A normal Letterman's jacket letter is twice that size. They gave us the small one because they were like, you're not in a real fucking sport. You're in marching band is what you are.
And it takes 4 years to earn that. We were in band for 4 years. I got that when I was a senior, so I couldn't really get
completely useless. Thanks there, Pete. Why don't you give us that in fucking junior year so we could award the whole senior year? The fuck am I going to do? Be that guy in college wearing his high school Letterman jacket? I was.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Kind of Funny podcast. Stu, thanks so much for coming through. Like I said, we didn't expect to turn the whole show into OG Social, but that's awesome. I'm very proud of you. That's really cool you've done this.
I love you guys.
We love you, man. Thanks for coming through. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, Kind of Funny podcast posts twice a week now. Once with just the clowns, once with the clowns, and usually another clown guest that we love. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindoffunny, where you can get every episode ad-free. You can write in with your own topics like Ignacio Rojas did, and we will be tackling his show in the post-show. Oh, God. Oh, God. If you're not, it's the mask. It doesn't matter. It's great. In the post-show over on patreon.com/kindoffunny right now. However, if you aren't watching live or you aren't watching on Patreon later, you can, of course, get the show on youtube.com/kindoffunny. Of course, it'll have ads. It won't have the post show, but that's why you want to go to patreon.com/kindoffunny. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.